Hi YouTube. In this clip, famous flatty Marilyn Spirit Level takes on the authorities in a court battle over her First Amendment rights. Who is right, Marilyn or the church and the state trooper? Comment below.
And this was the day of my arrest. I'm at a public event on church property. I mean, even the pastor here in this little red hat, he said that the event was a private event for church members and their families only. And I have printed out at least 6 advertisements in newspapers and on the internet and on Facebook, and they all say public. So, obviously that church pastor was very, very mistaken.
We're ready to have a hearing, Judge.
All right. All right. You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge, help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead.
All right, sir. On the date in question, we received a service call from members of the Central Schwenkfelder Church related to a belligerent female. We asked this individual to leave. She won't leave. She's preaching about flat earth. As we get closer, you can hear that she is talking very loudly or yelling about this movement of hers. And he asked her to leave. She won't leave, citing specific examples in case law saying that she doesn't have to leave. After that went on a few times, I then asked her to leave. I tried pleading with her about leaving, but she still failed to leave. So at that point, I had her place her hands behind her back, at which she fought back. So she resisted arrest. I was able to subdue her, put handcuffs on her, essentially charge her with the following sections for disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, posting signs on the property of another. We towed her vehicle that day. When we get back to the station, we discovered that her cell phone was around her neck recording the whole incident. And through her own admission, she said that she was recording the whole incident on the cell phone around her neck. So seized the cell phone.
You know that this was advertised on social media as being open to the public, correct?
Sure.
It was a country fair where there was music and food. So it was advertised in many different social media platforms. Are you aware of that?
I'm sure of it.
Okay. So anyone from the public who wanted to go could go, correct?
I'm sure of it.
All right. And basically what was happening was Ms. Teed was providing information about the earth being flat, correct?
In an obnoxious manner, yes.
Well, she had a placard that had the information on both sides of it, correct?
Posting signs on the property of another, yes.
No, it wasn't posting on anything. It was actually its own apparatus that was on wheels, correct?
But still on private property, yes.
That was open to the public that day.
On private property, yes.
Was it open to the public that day?
It was, but
Okay.
private property, yes.
And it wasn't anything that was posted on the building at the church. This was something that she brought onto the property, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And the pastor didn't want her there though, right?
because she was creating a disturbance.
That's a conclusion, okay?
That's what happened,
What did you observe?
that she was creating a disturbance.
How so?
Because nobody was around her. They were obviously being alarmed and annoyed because she was,
You're using the language of the statute instead of giving facts.
that's a
So
fact.
it's not. You don't have any witnesses here to say that they were alarmed or
And
disturbed,
that's why I asked for a continuance so they can be here.
which apparently was denied. So what did you observe when you approached Ms. Teed?
That she was trying to spread her flat earth opinion to everybody there,
By talking and by
talking and
displaying
yelling.
the information.
talking and yelling. At which point she created a disturbance.
Again, objection to the legal conclusion.
At which point she created an atmosphere of annoyance and alarm.
Objection. And so in order for people to hear her beyond those people that would have been standing in her immediate vicinity, such as you are standing to us, she would have to yell for them to hear her, correct?
Reasonable assumption. So the problem is she was asked.
I
to
didn't
leave
ask
and
you.
failed.
I didn't ask you a
She
question,
failed to do
Trooper.
so.
Did not ask you a question. So once you got there, you asked her to leave, and she said she had a right to be there under the First Amendment, correct?
Yeah, and we actually gave her the opportunity to go out on the street and do it. She still failed to do that.
Right, because she said she was in a public place for that day, correct?
Private property, but we'll go with what you want us to go with.
No, we're not gonna go with what we want. I'm actually asking you what she told you. So I'm
Yes.
not saying whether you believe it or not, but she told you that she had a right to be there because it was open to the public, right? Isn't that what she told you?
When she was asked to leave, she had to leave, period. Private property.
It's not your time to make an argument.
That's
It's
not
just
an
the
argument.
time to answer a question.
That's it, I'm answering your
We've
question.
already been over that a couple times now, so.
Yeah.
So,
So you said that she fought you. So how did she fight your arrest of her?
she did not willingly go into handcuffs. We had to use force to overcome it.
Okay. And she's 64 years old, right?
Yep,
And how old are you?
I don't see what the point of this is.
How old are you?
35?
Okay. And so you grabbed her wrist to place handcuffs on her?
Mm-hmm,
Is that yes?
yes.
Okay. And how did she resist you placing her into handcuffs?
She tensed up and resist.
She tensed up. Okay. Did she run away from you?
Well, she would have.
Did she run away from you?
Not.
Okay. Did she attempt to strike you?
She attempted to fight back
How did she do that?
by resisting the arrest.
That's a legal conclusion, trooper. So how did she kick you?
Nope.
I don't have any other questions of the witness. So it's just not a resisting arrest. Resisting arrest, I mean, I won't argue that, first of all, it has to be a lawful arrest. That is one element of it. But certainly tensing up to avoid being handcuffed is not the type of conduct that we're talking about. In fact, the appellate courts have held that a scuffle is not even what's meant to be covered under the resisting arrest statute. So clearly, tensing up does not qualify. There's no fight here. There's no intention to flee. So, it is not a resisting arrest. With regard to the defiant trespass, it's a public event that was being held on the church property that day. I believe that the trespass statute states that as long as you are conducting yourself in an appropriate manner in a public place, that's a defense to the trespass statute. She's disseminating information, and in order to do so on that large of a property, she needs to raise her voice to do that. She's not yelling at people. She's not attempting to insult anyone. She's simply trying to disseminate information, which of course is protected conduct. So I would submit that it's not a trespass. It's not disorderly conduct. She's not trying to cause public inconvenience or alarm. She's actually trying to educate people. Whether we agree with her viewpoint or not is really not the point.
All right, this is resisting arrest charge dismissed. She's held for court on the other charges. Her next date is January 29th, 2020.
Although this is stressful, I am not going to back down. I can't.